Hey, what is going on? Of course, to all of my bookish freaks out there, it is me, Amira Blaze, and welcome guys to season 1 of my spin-off show of the Curvy Metalhead Show, and it's simply called Bookshade. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Bookshade, guys, this is what it's about. Pretty much I talk about the following. Okay, I talk about things like paranormal romance, historical romance, and like historical fiction. So I'm here for all of us that are into the paranormal romance genre. And we talk about other things, but you know me, guys, I keep it metal, I keep it being alternative myself. And we also talk about what are called webtoons. These are web comics that come from like South Korea, and we also have a lot of fun with me doing voices while I am playing what are called Otome games. And I'll play games such as, like, for example, things like Pub Encounter, like Ecoman Vampire, and all that kind of cool stuff. But I'm just waiting for my voice to get a little bit better, But that's what we do here on this spin-off of the Curvy Metalhead Show. So this show, guys, Bookshade, is going to be updated twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will do my best. Okay, shit happens, life happens, but I will at least try to update, okay, twice a week. So if you're into, booktube and being bookish and shit, but, of course, the alternative way, you have come to the right program. So guys, let's get into it. I just finished up actually 3 really cool vampire romance books. So it's my favorite segment here, guys, on the program. And this is, of course, called my vampire romance wrap up with a soundtrack. So what I'm gonna do, guys, this is kind of like the whole how this segment works here, is first I'm gonna just give a wrap up of the books that I have completed reading within the vampire romance genre, and then to kind of make it a little more interesting than just like a regular like plain like wrap up, I also I spent some time, guys, listening to all different types of music that would be an excellent soundtrack to these books while you're reading them, because I love listening to music and reading. It really adds to the experience. So that's why I like to call this my vampire romance wrap up with a soundtrack. So these are all albums that were, of course, personally picked by yours truly, and I think it really helps to just add a little more ambiance while you are reading these books, and I think you guys will enjoy the selection. But let's get into, of course, the wrap up first. And of course, hey, we got Y. Hey, what's up? And Y is like, what's up, bitch? Hey, you know what? What's up, bitch, to you too. I'm okay if you guys call me a bitch. It's fine. It doesn't bother me, okay? It really doesn't. I take it as being in a confident and empowering term. So if you call me a bitch, hey, thank you. You are telling me that I am a strong, confident woman, okay? So get your life, all right? But let's get into, of course, the wrap-up portion of, me talking about these fine-ass vampire romance books, okay? All right, let's get it. So the first book, guys, that I wrapped up was, of course, this is like literally like the foundation it feels in regards to the booktube community, in regards to the vampire romance genre. And what I'm talking about is J.R. Ward's Dark Lover. Okay, so this is book 1 in a ongoing series by J.R. Ward, and it is called The Black Dagger. Okay, I'm trying to like figure out. Okay, there we go. Oh, all right. But this is the first book, guys, ongoing series of the Black Dagger Brotherhood. So here's the gist, guys, of these books that I have read so far, and I'm on the third book right now. But guys, Dark Lover focuses on each one of the books so far, like the first initial couple of books. It focuses on the main romances of each one of the members of the Brotherhood. Now, the Brotherhood is this group of fine ass, okay, male vampires who are, you know, their whole mission is to preserve the vampire race, okay? Because in this particular world, in the Black Dagger, you know, Brotherhood series, humans don't know about vampires and vice versa, okay? And they're trying to keep it that way. They feed off of each other. Like, if you're looking for like Dracula tropes, this series ain't it, okay? Now, this series still kind of follows some of the traditional like vampire stereotypes, like they can't be out in sunlight and shit like that. But in book one, okay, and this is, I have to say, this book is not my favorite of the series because it starts off really fucking menopausally slow, and then it doesn't really start to pick up towards the middle of the book, and then that's when the shit gets good. So book one, Dark Lover, focuses on the romance between a journalist named Beth and, of course, the leader of the Brotherhood, which is Raph. And guys, like, at first I liked Raph, but I gotta be honest, I canceled him towards many parts of this book because he is like an asshole to Beth at times, and it sometimes is not even necessary. But then there are moments where he is just like in love with her, okay? There are some steamy sex scenes in this book, good God, and there is a lot of twists and turns. But while all this is going on, guys, the Brotherhood also has to deal with the antagonist, because what kind of vampire romance book series would not have, you know, an antagonist to make things interesting, okay? So they have these, they're kind of like superhumans, but then eventually they transform into what are called lessers, and lessers are members of the Lessening Society. So what the Lessening Society is, guys, they're just vampire slayers, and their whole like purpose is to eradicate the vampire race. And the Brotherhood's like, no. So they just fight back and forth, guys, in the, you know, at night pretty much, or, you know, anytime the lessers want to fight, but it's mainly nighttime, and they, you know, try to make sure that, you know, humans are not involved. But yeah, what did I think about this book? It's good towards the middle of it, but the first half of it, guys, drier than menopause. But if, you know, if you're into, I would say, you know, if you like vampires with more of like a city-like setting, if you like more like shows like, for example, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and if you're into that type of like vampire, then you may like these books, okay? So that's book one, which is, of course, Dark Lover, okay? And the audiobooks, guys, are also pretty decent, I have to say. There were some parts where I'm like, it wasn't that great. But let's move on. So my second book that I completed is the second book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. And this one is called Lover Eternal. Way fucking better. Way fucking better than Dark Lover, okay? So this one, guys, is the romance between one of the other popular brothers of the Brotherhood, Rage, and of course his love interest, who is who her name is Mary, okay? And let me tell you guys, this one will take you on a wild roller coaster ride. Like, just when I think I figured out everything, I'm like, oh shit, like so many twists and turns, okay? So Rage, guys, he's known as, in a way, he has a lot of elements like Lestat from the Vampire Chronicles series by Anne Rice. You know, he's very cunning. He can be cocky at times. He knows he looks good. You know, all the ladies love him. But deep down inside, guys, Rage is not what you think he is, okay? He is empty as fuck, and he's been longing to have someone that completes him instead of like having a whole bunch of sex with a bunch of bitches. Okay, like that's literally how sometimes women are described in this book. Okay, but once he meets Mary, something just like it's just something about her that just puts him in love overdrive. And you'll learn, guys, something very interesting about Rage. You learn in the first book is that, and you'll find out why he has this, but Rage is not your normal vampire. He actually has a beast inside him, and this beast has its own mindset. And apparently this beast also has a thing for Mary as well. But throughout the book, guys, you learn more about Mary. You learn about her hardships because she's been through some shit, okay? But you also realize like why Rage is like attracted to her and vice versa. But the chemistry in this book is really good. This book is definitely in some parts a tearjerker, guys. You're just like, oh my gosh, like, you know. And then there are some moments where there's some action and you're like, yes, okay. So I would say Dark Lover, like this book, Lover Eternal, is so much better. So that's how I feel about that one. All right, now this one I'm gonna spend a little bit. I'm so sorry, guys, I am sweating like crazy. It is a mess today, okay? But this one, guys, I'm gonna spend a little more time on, and this is the book that I've been reading for quite some time. It's 3 books in one, and this is called Vampire Kisses: The Beginning. This is a book series by Ellen Schreiber, okay? So this book series, guys, probably one of the best ways to get like goth culture kind of blended into the vampire like book culture as well. This book is well executed. Ellen Schreiber is that bitch, okay? Not only does she, in this particular book series, she has really campy gothic humor, and you can tell she really studied like the gothic culture because she has so many really good references to goth culture in here. So like I would say, you know, for example, the main protagonist, Raven, there's a part in the book series where she dresses up as Elvira. And if you guys know who Elvira is, she is known as the Queen of Halloween. And you can tell that, you know, the author really took time to like incorporate a lot of these references. And if you're into, you know, gothic culture, or if you just like, you know, like heavy metal culture and things, like, you will love this series. It's fucking hilarious, but there are moments where you're just like, oh, you're like, poor Raven. Okay, so here's a gist of this book series, guys. There's 3 books if you decide to get this one, the Vampire Kisses, you know, The Beginning. So you have the first book, which is called Vampire Kisses. Then you have the second book that's called Kissing Coffins. And then you have the third book, which I just finished today, bitch, okay? And it's called Vampireville. Here's the gist of this book series so far. So you have a protagonist, her name is Raven. She lives in this town that she calls Dollsville. And she's, you know, she's a young lady. She loves being goth, and she loves wearing black from, you know, head to toe. And all of her like colleagues, you know, that she is in class with, they think she's like a fucking weirdo. And, you know, and I could relate to that, okay? Like me, you know, being different, I can relate to, you know, people constantly judging me and not giving me a chance. And that's exactly how Raven feels. So one day, all of a sudden, this interesting group of people just move into, and I'm so sorry, guys, I'm like, you know, moving back and forth, but this book is heavy as fuck, okay? But I digress. So one day, this very interesting, like, people, they move next door, like a couple blocks down from this really, really old ass mansion where there used to be this like empress kind of woman living there, and she fucking dies, of course. And come to find out, and you find out that the people that are living there, also known as the Sterlings, are vampires. And Raven is just like, oh my gosh, like, I have always wanted to be a vampire, like, oh shit. And then one day, guys, she ends up meeting the sexiest male vampire, okay, and his name is Alexander Sterling. So the first 3 books, guys, there's a couple of components to it. They talk about the relationship between Raven and Alexander, and the chemistry they have, guys, is absolutely adorable. And just the puns and things that they say to each other is really hilarious. Now, while all of this is going on, she also has she has 2 main antagonists. There is Jagger, who is the adversary of Alexander, and you find out, you know, when you read the books, why there's this tension, and it's really ridiculous, like what went down. And then also, there's another antagonist that's towards the end of the book. Towards the end of the second book, and her name is Luna. And you'll find out how Jagger and Luna are, you know, like connected. It's I was not surprised at all. The other thing that you find out in this book series 2 and the other antagonist is Trevor. Okay. Trevor and Raven, I feel like they're, you know, Trevor is definitely attracted to Raven, but because he's like super preppy and, you know, Mr. Popular, as he likes to call himself. But the banter between them, guys, is fucking hilarious. He calls her Monster Girl. You know, and just like there's so many gothic joke puns and stuff that he called her. This book series, guys, is really fucking brilliant. So I highly recommend that you read this, because you'll find out like what happens to Raven and Alexander and Trevor and you know, even her other friends that are, you know, that she interacts with when she is at school. So let me I have some favorite parts, guys, that I want to share with you. As you can see, I bookmarked the fuck out of this book, like, oh my gosh. Okay, so let me I'll start with the first one here. So this is towards the earlier part of the book, okay? And like this is some of the things that like make me you know, kind of make me laugh, or some of the, like, just the description of things, okay? So yeah, this is, oh my gosh, let me see if I can find the, okay, so this is the description, guys, of Jagger, okay? So it wasn't Alexander. Instead, sitting in front of me was a cryptic looking the young man, okay? And it says his cadaverous, yeah, and I'm just paraphrasing here, okay? His cadaverous yet attractive face, almost hidden beneath the dripping white hair with red ends as if it had been dipped in blood. 3 silver rings pierced his eyebrow, and a pewtered skeleton hung from his left ear. His seductive eyes pierced through me, one metallic green, the other ice blue. Like, just really detailed. Like I could close my eyes and be like, I can envision how Jagger would look like. This is how good writing is, guys, is when you can describe something and you can like imagine it, you know what I mean? Okay, so I have that. There's so many good points here. Okay, okay, so this is like some of the humor and stuff like that. Okay, I like this. All right, so it says, I appreciate it. This is when she visits one of her aunts, like one of her favorite aunts. Her name is Aunt Libby, and she's like super hippie. And her parents, they used to be hippies, but then they became like squares. and there are moments in the book where she talks about that. She's like, oh, my parents are so fucking squares. Like, it's great, but she still loves them, you know? And she also has a brother, and the brother is like typical, like, you know, into geek hobbies and stuff. And I love the banter between Raven and her brother. It's like fucking hilarious. Okay. So let me read this part here. Okay, it says, I appreciated that Libby understood what it was like to be different, because she felt more comfortable in Hipsterville. Maybe Alexander had found a place where he felt more comfortable too. Aunt Libby, can I ask you a personal question? Of course. Do you believe in vampires? She laughed. I thought you were going to ask about sex, but I was serious. Do you? I once dated a guy who kept a vial around his neck. He claimed it was blood, but it smelled like strawberries and Kool-Aid. You know, like this type of campy humor. Like I appreciate this. Yeah. This is, it's really good, guys. There's so many moments. Let me see. There's one other one that I'll share with you that it was like my personal favorite. It's towards the it's towards the end. Okay, let me see here if I can find it for y'all.
This is the same old crap over and over again.
Okay, I'll find it here. But there are a lot of good moments in this book, guys, especially just kind of reflecting on things like concepts like, is immortality really worth it? Like, is it worth it to live forever knowing that the people that are mortal around you are eventually going to die, but you're going to stay the same? Like, it addresses a lot of these things within this book series. Okay. So this is my other favorite too, just some of the other kind of banter between her and Trevor, okay, Trevor is like her bully, okay. So all right, it says Becky and I now race few yards to the tombs where a huge crowd had gathered. Alexander was standing over Jagger, who was coughing and wheezing. Luna was leaning against the Covenant coffin. Trevor had no idea that the garlic tablet was making them vulnerable. He thought it was his bravado. The soccer snobs encircled Jagger and Luna. Matt and Becky stayed by my side. Alexander is definitely allergic to garlic. And it looks like Jagger and Luna are too, Becky remarked. That and being pummeled by Alexander and Trevor. And this is Raven talking to her friend Beth, okay? So she says here, she's like, I told Trevor the gel cap was an aphrodisiac. I proudly whispered when I reached to Alexander. Apparently he told his friends too, he said softly with a smile. The entire soccer team must have taken them. Okay, so like stuff like that, you know, like kind of playing on the traditional tropes of vampires. So in this particular world, vampires, they don't like garlic to the point where it can cripple them. And you'll see there's a moment between, if you read this, there's a moment between Raven and Alexander where there's a lot of action, and yeah, man, guys, this book series is wonderful. So if you're looking for like a campier version, but still intellectual too, talking about, vampires, and there is a little romance in here. I think you appreciate this series. Once again, this is Vampire Kisses, The Beginning, which are the first 3 books in the Vampire Kisses book series by Ellen Shriver. But yeah, I mean, guys, there's so many memorable moments in this. This is like my favorite of all 3. All right, so we have done the recap on the books. Let's put a soundtrack to it. All right, so these are artists that I think when you're reading these books, I think you will really appreciate. So starting with Straight Line Stitch, guys. Fuck yes. Okay, Raven is really into, she likes goth music. Alexander, and they would play like music like Metallica and things like that. So Straight Line Stitch, guys, they're a band from Tennessee. They are fucking phenomenal. The lead singer, Alexis Brown, guys, is a woman of color, and it is very rare in rock and metal music to see a woman of color really fully like be recognized for her metalness. I mean, guys, what comes out of Alexis Brown's mouth in this album, this is my personal favorite Straight Line Stitch album. This is When Skies Wash Ashore. It's wonderful. I mean, she's like, "Wah!" Like, I can't even imitate it, but it is epic, guys. This album, this is their album that they got noticed for. Listen to songs on this album like Black Veil, for example, but it's just great metalcore. Because when I think of, and I would say the book that you would listen to this would be definitely Vampire Kisses, the beginning, because like Raven and Alexander have moments where there is just this pent-up aggression and tension between them and their, you know, and other antagonists like Jagger and Luna and Trevor and so many others. But yeah, this album, guys, is great. Like, from start to finish, it is just pure metalcore. And, you know, a lot of goths are also not only just into the typical kind of goth music, but they also listen to metal too. And metalcore is kind of like that middle ground, you know, between your traditional classic, you know, type of heavy metal combined with, it's kind of like new metal is the best way that I can describe it. But yeah, they are a wonderful fucking band. And I think that, yeah, they're really, really good. Like, I really, you know, I really like them for sure. All right, so the next band I would recommend, guys, got another one here for this soundtrack if you want to listen to it while you're reading, is Bif Naked, guys. This woman is so fucking underrated. Now, you guys know, in case you don't know, I really like Canadian rock and metal bands. You know, they just fucking rock, and it's so sad that they don't always get. Ever so often you'll hear about, you know, a Canadian artist or a rock band really blowing up, but this woman, guys, is wonderful. Because here's the thing, guys, about Vampire Kisses, it has a very 90s feel, and like a lot of the goth like cultural references, it comes from like the 90s and early 2000s, and Bif Naked really represents that. She's punk, she's rock, she's, you know, she had like this album Ibificus, which is like their main debut, it really has this more like punk, but she just has a gothic aesthetic to her sometimes, and she's so refreshing. She's like an unapologetic, strong, beautiful, you know, confident alternative woman. And listen to tracks, guys, like Moment of Weakness. It's just this unapologetic, like, you know, fuck you know what I mean? And there are many moments in Vampire Kisses where Raven is like, fuck this shit, you know? And there's also some other good songs on here, like Lucky, for example, which are more softer, like sensual kind of songs. But yeah, fucking Bif Naked she is amazing. And of course, we got Mr. Beast. Hey, welcome to the program. And of course, Mr. Beast is asking me if I am a man or woman. And you know what? If you can't figure that out, you're a dumbass. Okay? Seriously. But, you know, y'all, like, some of y'all are cool, but some of y'all are just like dumb asses. Just dumb asses. Like, y'all just dumb. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Like, just dumb. So dumb. And it's unfortunate too. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. All right, but let's get back into it. But yeah, Bif Naked, guys, Ibificus is a great album. I've reviewed it in the past. I may do a follow-up review because I haven't listened to it in some time, but oh, it's just great. And it's just nice, quick, you know, short spurts of songs, and it's raw, it's unapologetic. And guys, this was honestly, when this album came out, it was different for women. Like, women could be alternative and just, you know, be themselves. You know, it wasn't about like you had to look a certain way, or, you know, you're not alternative enough, or you're too alternative. But that's why I love Bif Naked. She just embodied this like fuck you but still graceful and beautiful and talented. She's really talented, very underrated, guys. This is a must listen. I'm just saying. All right, so next we have Heezay. You know, I talk about her, you know, all the time. Heezay is amazing. Like, I really respect Heezay. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Heezay, she is a Korean, like, best way I can put it, Heezay, guys, she is a Korean R&B and alternative artist. I wouldn't label her as like K-pop, because she doesn't really, to me, embody that. She's a very, and this is not to say that K-pop music cannot be multifaceted, but she is on a completely different level, guys. From her singing, her music videos, she has a lot of really deep, complex themes talking about, you know, femininity and just, you know, going through changes in her life. Of course, this album is called You, Clouds and Rain. This is her EP from not too long ago, but she has a song on here that is called Don't Know You, and if you know, read the lyrics, like, definitely I would say this album would really correlate with the Black Dagger Brotherhood books, just because there are moments, like, for example, in Dark Lover, where Beth, you know, she's kind of like, do I really, like, understand you? Like, do I really know you? So that's why I thought I would pick that one, because I felt that it really, you know, really correlated with that for sure. Next, of course, in case you guys don't know, because, you know, many times, you know, because this show is, of course, the Curvy Metalhead show, a lot of times people just assume that all I listen to is metal. But as you can see, guys, I'm a very eclectic person. I like to... Metalheads are eclectic people. Alternative people, we are eclectic people. So, of course, guys, this is probably one of Ciara's strongest albums that she has made in quite some time. This is her second album, which is called Ciara The Evolution. Guys, this is what put Ciara to her superstar, you know, power that she is today. Now, unfortunately, she did fall off a little bit, but Ciara is one of these artists that she's really misunderstood. You know, she can do ballads, she can do, you know, dance songs. She is the total package, but for some reason, she's not up to the level as some of her contemporaries, unfortunately. But this was an album, guys, that really, to me, showcases Ciara's talent. It's called Ciara The Evolution. Definitely, guys, listen to tracks such as like My Love and Can't Leave You Alone, you know, stuff like that, you know. And I would say that the Black Dagger Brotherhood books would be great for this, because, you know, there are moments where there is some tension in the, you know, in the relationship, and they're trying to kind of figure out, like, you know, is he the one for me or is she the one for me? So yeah, definitely, guys, a good listen for sure. And of course, we gotta go back to Heezay. This is her recent EP. I will be doing a separate review on this, guys, because you know why? It's that fucking good. Like, Heezay is that bitch, okay? This is her recent EP. It's called Lyricist, and she did this song, guys, that I am addicted to. I swear, like Korean R&B alternative music, guys, is fucking addicting. Like, it's so fucking good. This is, of course, Lyricist. Definitely, guys, one of the songs, like I said, I'm super addicted to is a song that she did with Ash Island, and it's called Your Name. And if you watch the music video and you read the lyrics too, it's like it's like you had a past love, and then in present time you end up seeing them again, but it's someone that's kind of like a doppelganger is the best way to put it. And I would say this would apply, guys, to all three books, because there are moments where you know, the main characters feel like, yeah, like, you know, why am I, like, for example, in Dark Lover, there are moments where Beth is like, why am I attracted to this man? Like, why am I so attracted to him that even when he's gone, it's like I want him like that? And that's when she starts to have those moments of self-actualization, that she, you know, she's in love, like she wants to be with him and like solidify that shit. All right, and we have, of course, Jamal. Hey, welcome back to the program. And Jamal says, hello. Well, hello, welcome. Right, but yeah, I highly recommend this album, guys. This EP is the shit. Like, she can never make bad music, guys. She's one of the very few artists that, and maybe I'm being elitist, but I don't give a fuck. Like, she is that talented. And the fact that she's not to the level where I feel she should be is really damn sad. But yeah, she, you know, people know her work, but you know, she's not to the same level as like a BTS or, you know, like stuff like BoA and stuff like that. But yeah, she's great. I really like her. If you like slow, sensual kind of music, and she has some like dance records ever so often, she's super creative. Like, her music videos really stand out. They're not your typical like music videos that would be made by a Korean artist. You know what I mean? It's not all like the dance choreography and stuff, which is fine. I enjoy those videos, but I love how artistic she is. You know, like if you like artists like Sade and FKA Twigs, you will love Heezae. Everything, okay? All right, next, of course, you know, guys, this is gonna be a interesting selection because I don't know what it is about K Michelle. It's like people either love her or they just think she's a bitch, and there's just no neutralism when it comes to her. And of course, we have Sarah. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the program. And once again, of course, Jamal says that I have autism. Well, you know what, Jamal? Go fuck yourself. Like, you know, go get a hobby and, you know, like do something with your life. You know, it's just really pathetic and sad that people like take this much energy to say something that like is totally, you know, it's totally irrelevant. Like, no one gives a shit and you're done. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. This is what I have to deal with just because of me being who I am. But see, now I'm more stronger than I ever been before, and go fuck yourself. All right. Okay. So, of course, Sarah is like, are we examining the tropes tonight? Yeah, that'll be coming up tomorrow, guys. Guess what? I got some interesting news for you. You know the lovetropes.com website that I've been like obsessing over? Well, guess what, my friends? They have updated the website. As of yesterday, I checked it. And guys, they have a hell of a more tropes than I ever thought. There were tropes that I didn't even know were tropes, okay? So that'll be coming up tomorrow. I'll do a special episode on that. And Sarah says, wow. Yeah, you know, Sarah, you know, let the haters hate. I don't give a fuck, okay? They say I'm old, they say I'm washed up, but they got time to sit down and watch my program. So you must like what you see, okay? All right? But let's continue here, guys. Let's not, I'm not gonna ruin my show over some basic ass bitches, okay? But let's continue. All right, so K Michelle, guys, you may know her from the legendary show, also known as Love and Hip Hop, and she's so talented, guys. But the main reason why I think K Michelle deals with what she has to deal with, she's always dealing with some unnecessary drama, and she's really misunderstood, you know. And you know, here's my thing, we're all human, you know, and we all have, you know, different personalities and stuff. But yeah, K Michelle is super creative, guys. She can yodel, I mean, she's a multi-instrumentalist. Like, she is really, really talented. It's just that because she's on a dramatic show like Love and Hip Hop, I think that's what overshadows her true potential. This is just me personally. I think if she were to leave the show and really focus on her career, like the music that I've been listening to recently by her, she would blow the fuck up. Like, she would really, really do well. But it's unfortunate what she's kind of had to go through in regards to her musical career. At one time, I believe I was reading about she was thinking about doing a country music album. And I think she really should. I think K. Michelle would be the right person to help to equalize the racial barriers when it comes to country music. I will be doing a separate episode talking about that, because it is interesting, guys, being a person of color that listens to country music. It is a very interesting experience, I have to say. But moving on from that, guys, this is her album that I'm surprised is not really, like, it wasn't really as popular as her first two albums, but this album is called Kimberly, The People I Used to Know. This is her 4th studio album, and this is, to me, like, it's an interesting album, guys, by K. Michelle. But one of the songs that I recommend you listen on here is Birthday, okay? And Birthday would work mainly for the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, because if you learn, guys, about the setting of these books, they take place in the city, and like people like Wrath and Rage in them, they're really into rap and hip hop and some R&B. So, like, that's what I was kind of envisioning when I was reading these books. So Birthday, guys, is just this sexy song, and she's like, I got some bitches with me, let's have a good time, it's your motherfucking birthday. So I can picture like Beth and Raph and just this, and even Rage too, and Mary, and like just the seduction and the allure of their passion, you know? So that would be a good song to listen to when you're reading those books. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm just saying. All right, and another selection, this is an honorable mention. This is her 2nd album. And this album, guys, is, I always get it wrong, so I have my notes here. It's called Anybody Wanna Buy a Heart, okay? So this is the 2nd studio album from K. Michelle. And this is what also put her on the map as well, guys, besides her debut, which came out in 2013. It was called Rebellious Soul. But if you're reading the Black Dagger Brotherhood books, guys, I definitely recommend listening to tracks like Love 'Em All, which is this anthem of, you know, being like the difficulties of being a woman and liking multiple men, and then you just get it to a conclusion that you know what, I love them all. They all have little things within them that I'm attracted to. And there are moments where Beth is kind of like that, where Wrath kind of gets jealous because, you know, she's kind of looking at Rage and looking at, you know, some of the other brothers in the Brotherhood. I don't blame her. They're fine as fuck, guys. I'm just saying, okay? But yeah, check out those tracks. Love them all. Maybe I Should Call. And one of my other favorites is like a jazzier tune. It's called Something About the Night, which I appreciate. It's really good. All right, so getting back into the rock music. Well, this time, guys, we're keeping it nu metal here. This is a must listen if you are into the nu metal genre, and yes, it is a genre, okay? I know there's always debates in the metal and rock community about how nu metal is not metal. Well, you know what? I don't give a fuck, okay? Nu metal is metal, and you know why? Because it has metal elements in it. It's just that nu metal takes other genres outside of the metal and rock genre, and it's its own unique like entity, okay? So this album, of course, is the debut album from a phenomenal female metal band, but to me they're just the metal band, and I live for this band. I wish they would come out with more music. This is Kitty Spit, guys. This album from start to motherfucking finish is just pure raw aggression. It is unapologetic. It's just the biggest like fuck you to your ears, but it's like in a great way. Okay, so some of the songs that I would recommend on here would be like of course Spit and Brackish. You know, it's like it's just, you know, and just hearing, you know, Morgan's voice, like, you know, she can scream and sing, guys. That's a true talent. Okay, but for a long time, guys, Kitty was not taken seriously, and this is a problem, even though people don't want to talk about it. But you know what, I'm going to talk about it. Women are treated differently in the rock and metal community. Are there exceptions to the rules? Yeah, but they're called legends. Okay, but what I noticed is, like, especially when this like, this was just research that I did, when this album came out, man, they were getting heavily criticized. They're like, women, you know, female metal artists, they can't play fucking instruments. They all play instruments, guys. They write their shit. Like, super talented women. I really wish they would come back together, but this is just my opinion. I think the reason why Kitty kind of had their demise was because of how the industry is. You know, when women are working together, a lot of times in the industry, they want to like divide us, and that happens a lot, unfortunately, in the rock and metal music industry. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yeah, but this band is, yeah, this album, guys, from start to finish, I mean, I've listened to their entire catalog. I love it. Like, I love them. But, you know, when I think of Raven, like, this is what I think. I think of Kitty, like, right away. Like, they're just such a unique band. I just really wish that they could just get their shit together and, like, make some new music. But, you know, I get it. You know, they're all, you know, they all have their own separate projects, which I respect. But I really think Kitty needs to come back, because we really do need these raw, pure aggression female like rockers, and they exist, but it's just something about Kitty is just, they're so different. But that's just my opinion on it. All right, and let me get some one moment here, guys. I'm gonna get some water here, so I'll be right back. Hydration. All right. And of course I have to burp. How gross. All right, so next, guys, oh my gosh, guys, this album, bitch, this is in my top 5 best albums of 2020, and that says a lot, guys, because you know how anal retentive I am. Okay, this is from she's from Atlanta, Georgia, and her name is Victoria Monet. If you have not heard of her, I don't know who's that artist that everybody just, you know, she's got the pipes. I don't know, Ariana Grande she's worked with. Okay, she has worked with some well respected artists that you would be even surprised, you know, because you wouldn't think that, like, with her music, that she would work with artists like that. But that's how talented, guys, Victoria Monet is. She is very underrated. The fact that this woman has not blown up in the industry blows my fucking mind. Okay, not only does she have really captivating, sexy, sensual lyrics that are just so direct, and it's wonderful. And I mean, guys, from start to finish, this album is an experience. Okay, like, and no pun intended, those are some of the songs, guys, that I recommend. Like, she has a song that's actually called Experience that she did with Khaled. It's really good. It's pretty much a modern disco sound with soulful, like a soulful feeling to it. And the music video is really cool. They're actually in a roller skating ring. It's really, yeah. I love her vintageness, but she still has this modern flavor to her music. So I would recommend Experience. The other thing too that's really interesting with her songs is she also addresses bisexuality, and this is something that you don't always hear in R&B like that. Not to say that it's not there, but it's just the way she presents it. It's very raw. She's just like, this is what I'm into, you know. And she also has songs like Moment, you know. She has like songs like Moments where she's just like, you know, I'm gonna give you this moment, please be sexy with me, let's be sexy together, yes, you know what I mean. But then she also has other track that I recommend is Touch Me, and when I read the lyrics, it's actually about being with a woman and the and how she feels, like the sensuality of a woman. It's really sexy, actually. It's very interesting to listen to. But that's the thing I love about her songs, is they're very gender neutral, and that's something that's interesting in R&B, because in R&B music, sometimes, you know, there's songs where you're like, okay, this is definitely for the guys, and it's a, you know, it's a heterosexual song. And then there are songs where you're like, okay, this is for the ladies, you know, this is like a cisgender song. So it, like, that's the thing. And her sexuality, guys, in this album is not like the only focal point, but I love how she is so organic, and she's just like, this is who I am. Like, she is phenomenal, guys. Like, she is like, she's a chameleon, guys, when it comes to her music. She can go from a dance record like New Love. If you ever have the chance, guys, that's another honorable mention. New Love, Touch Me. My other favorite, which is on this album, is she wrote a song, guys, about her workouts on her ass. Okay, it's called Ass Like That. Like, she's clever. I really fucking love her. This is her, of course, the album cover for her latest EP. It's out now. Go get that shit. It's called Jaguar. But guys, I would say this album is really correlated to the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Like, it's got that city feeling. Like, this is the type of music like I would hear in like a bigger city. But it is fucking good, guys. Like, if you guys have the chance to listen to this EP, you'll understand why I love it so much, and I will be doing a separate review on this because it's that damn good. This is like a masterpiece album, in my opinion. I could talk about it all day, but let's move on here. All right, so this is an album. This is the album that unfortunately a lot of black people drag Ciara for, and I felt so bad for her because it's one of Ciara's, like, to me, one of her most overlooked albums. It did not do well, and I think the reason why it didn't do well was because at this time Ciara was with Future, and then they had this terrible breakup. I feel so bad for celebrities because it's like they can't just break up amicably. It's like everybody's in your business. So this is her album, Jackie. She has there's a song that a lot of people don't know about, you know, from her, and it's really good. It's called Dance Like We're Making Love. And also, I would recommend the other song that really, you know, people know this album from, is called I Bet. And to me, I felt like that song was an ode to her and her just, you know, moving on from Future, you know. And I felt so bad for Ciara because Ciara got fucking dragged. Like, she got dragged, okay. But yeah, like, black people like canceled Ciara for quite some time because of that situation, and I felt so bad for her because this is something that it's normal. You know, some of us have been through a breakup, and then, you know, you live and you learn, and then you move on and you find someone, you know, you meet someone that is more compatible. And she ended up meeting, I believe his name is Russell Wilson, and he treats her like royalty, like wonderful. You know, sometimes, guys, in life you learn, like, you know, when you have a relationship that you're like, you know what, this is not what I want in a relationship, you know, let me just move forward. And guys, let me tell you, she did all of this shit and being a single mother. So props to her, and props to the single mothers that, like, went through what Ciara went through. I can't even, like, imagine how difficult that must be. But yeah, I highly recommend those two songs. The rest of the album, I will admit, is kind of Sierra's like, it's a weird album, Jackie. It really is. But if you really listen to the album, guys, it's a reflection of herself and like what she was going through at that time. And I think, you know, at the time when this album came out, and this is just from my research of it, like, people, you know, would assume, like, people were just thinking of Ciara as like, you know, this dancing, you know, machine, that kind of thing, and doing this, you know, poppy, you know, crunk kind of music. But Ciara, guys, also has a very sensual side and a very reflective side, and that's why I like the 2 songs off of this album, because it really embodied like Ciara's rawness. And I would recommend listening to these songs with all 3 books, Vampire Kisses and Black Dagger Brotherhood series, here Dark Lover and Lover Eternal, because there are some moments where, yeah, they, you know, like the song Dance Like We're Making Love, you know, like there's so much passion, guys. Like, there were moments where I was reading these books and I was just like, whew, I need to have a moment, you know? Yes, you know what I mean? But yeah, I highly recommend, guys, listening to this album. It will make you think a little bit differently about Ciara. It's very interesting, for sure. All right, next we have another underrated queen, I swear. Guys, I really feel Normani, if like the music industry and people would just give her a chance, I think she could get to like our generation's like Janet Jackson level. She has the it factor. She really fucking does. Okay, she's gorgeous, she can sing, and she can like dance. Okay, guys, go look up her MTV, I think it was the MTV Music Video Awards performance of Motivation. Get back to me. This is the same woman, guys, that bumped her booty on a basketball. Like, very few people can do that. Like, and that's not even besides the point, but this is her song, the single that, you know, people started to kind of pay attention to her with 6 Black. It's called Waves. It's phenomenal, guys. It's very sexy, very sensual. I would recommend listening to these when you're reading specifically Lover Eternal, because there are a lot of there's a lot of moments in the book where it does feel like, you know, Mary is going in waves and rage too, you know, no pun intended. But yeah, this is a great song, and I really like Normani, and I don't know why she hasn't really been given the chance to shine, because I feel she has that Janet Jackson potential, like, for real. She's really talented. She's really good. All right, once again, guys, we have Bif Naked with Super Beautiful Monster. Guys, this album is everything. I think this is one of Bif Naked's most introspective, personal albums to date. She has songs on here like Let Down, which I would recommend. Also, she has a song called Every Day, and in the song she literally says live every day like it's your last one, because she went through she ended up having breast cancer, guys. Like, the fuck, like, she's been through a lot, y'all. Like, man, and super talented, like super fucking talented. But she's no more like overseas and in Canada than I would say within the American music market, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, this album is everything. Like, this I thought of Vampire Kisses right away. I thought of Raven and just her, like, just her anger and just her just being rebellious and everything. And that's what Bif Naked's like albums to me kind of reflect. Like, her earlier stuff was about, you know, being kind of, you know, just I don't give a fuck, like, you know, very rebellious. But when you listen to Super Beautiful Monster, you get a retrospective, and she's kind of going through this cycle of like, oh, these are the things that I've gone through as a woman. This is like my reality, and it's one of my favorite Bif Naked albums besides Ibificus, the debut. But yeah, she's great. She's great. And she also does a really good cover of Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. Fuck. Highly recommend those songs, guys. And I would recommend this album for the Vampire Kisses books overall. All right, and of course, another album that people really made fun of Ciara for, but damn, she had a hit song, okay? It was a hit, and it was called Body Party. See, I can't really sing as well as her, and, you know, I certainly don't look as, you know, look how fly she looks, like, bitch. Okay, but this is just Ciara. But yeah, the main track that people know this album from is Body Party. Like, your body is my party. Enough said. Okay, like that's just the romance book genre right there, right? Okay, but I would recommend this album for the, you know, for either Dark Lover or Lover Eternal. I mean literally, I swear, these both Beth and Mary were like, I could see them singing that to either Raph or Rage and being like, my body is your party, let's make this happen. All right. Next, of course, this is the album of all albums, in my opinion, when I think of especially new metal. But it's just, you can't even really put Rage Against the Machine, guys, in a category. This is their album just called Renegades, you know, and you know, the Renegades of Funk. The Renegades of Funk, you know, like it's so, like, the funky riffs, guys. This album, the pure raw aggression, you know, this is definitely for Vampire Kisses book series. So whether it's, you know, Kissing Coffins, I would say, if you know, once you get to that book and listen to this album, you'll understand. But the songs I recommend on here, of course, Renegades of Funk and Street Fighter Man. You have to say it like that, guys. But yeah, I've always loved Rage Against the Machine. Like, they're just, I just love how, just, you know, no pun, but, you know, how ragey they are. And I mean, guys, like, this album is timeless. Like, it's a masterpiece in itself. It addresses a lot of really deep, like, social issues and stuff, but Rage, you know, Rage has always been like that. Like, if you listen to Rage Against the Machine, you're going to have a, you know, a social cultural experience, you know, and so, and not all their songs, but some of their songs. But yeah, definitely listen to Renegades and Street Fighter Man. You know? I love Rage, y'all. They're the shit, man. All right, so this is another album that very well respected, but I don't hear people talking about it anymore, and that is my lady here, Jill Scott, The Real Thing, Words and Sounds, Volume 3. Guys, Jill Scott is the modern day, like, female Mozart, you know, meets you know, Billie Holiday. I mean, she is a singer, and well, mainly her albums, guys, focus on singing and poetry. You know, no pun intended, but I love this other duo. I wish they would get back together. They were called Flowetry. With if you like artists like Marsha Ambrosius, you would love Jill Scott. And the thing I love about Jill Scott, guys, she's a plus-size woman. She is confident in her shit. And she loves herself. She loves her sexuality, you know. And guys, she does not hold back. Jill, like, God, I'm gonna tell you right now, Jill Scott's music is for mature audiences only. There's a couple of songs that I would say, you know, are more like toned down, but when you read the lyrics of these you know, of her songs, like some of her albums, and you like decipher it, you're like, ooh, this is hot. Okay, there's hot sauce all over it. Okay, but songs that I would recommend off of this album, guys, is I Want to Be Loved and Come and See Me. Okay, I had to sing it. Okay, but yeah, I mean, Come and See Me, guys, obvious. Okay, get your life. All right, you turn that song on, okay, when you about to get it. All right. I'm just saying. No, I'm being extra, y'all. But yeah, this is a, like, Jill Scott writes mature adult music, okay, as they call it, grown folks music. Okay, but yeah, Come and See Me and Want to Be Loved, you know, like, Want to Be Loved is my favorite because, you know, it kind of talks about sometimes, like, as a woman, you just want to be loved. by your significant other, you know, because in the song she says, I want to be loved like no one else does, you know, like, yes bitch. Okay, but yeah, Jill Scott, guys, her albums are phenomenal. I also recommend Words and Sounds Volume 1 too, because she has that song like, you're getting in the way of what I'm feeling. Like it's just this anthem to dealing with a bitchy ass another woman and letting that woman know that this is my man. Okay. I love me some Jill Scott though. She lets you have it. Like, she is just raw, unapologetic R&B. And I mean, over time, I won't lie, her albums did get a little bit softer, but the first Words and Sounds and Volume 3 I live for. And yeah, she has the song Golden, which I also appreciate. Also, guys, you can listen to her other well, the recent release I listened to, but she had some other stuff come out. It's called Woman. Enough said. Okay, like, if you are a woman or whether you're not, listen to that album. Funky, soulful, but it is everything. So if you're gonna listen to this album, I would recommend it for Dark Lover and Lover Eternal. It's just pure raw, like, sexiness and just the different phases that a relationship can go through, and also the different phases that a woman can go through. But Jill Scott, she likes to write music that relates to women of color, and she is a poet. So when you're listening to her music, her songs are like poetry. It's just poetry with action. That's the best way I can describe her music, but I highly recommend her stuff. Top-notch shit, I'm just saying. All right, and next, oh my gosh, guys, this is my lady here. I love her. Like, guys, let me tell you, Ledisi is so underrated, so underrated. The fact that, I mean, she's starting to get her you know, her due, but I feel like it should have come sooner for her. Okay, guys, Ledisi is not only soulful, but she just has this jazziness to her voice that is not stereotypical. It's so unique, and she's a powerhouse. And she can sing real bassy and sexy, and then she has these soprano vocals that just blow you out of the fucking water. And look how fucking beautiful she is. And guys, the other reason why I like her too, and I know this is gonna sound stereotypical, but it's really rare you see dark-skinned women being viewed as like sexy and beautiful, and that's what Ledisi's music like does for me. Is she helps women, whether it's women of color or not, to feel sexy about yourself. You know, this is of course her album Pieces of Me. I would recommend this for all 3 books, but the song Pieces of Me really talks about that. Like, you know, as a woman or as a person, we have all these different pieces that make us make us who we are. And a lot of times people take these pieces and they use it for either deception or misconception on who we are as people. Like, you see how good her shit is, guys? Super deep, okay? Amazing. And like, I love her not only because she's a dark-skinned woman, and she's like a role model to me, because she made me feel good about myself, guys. You know, and I'm gonna talk about this, you know, in a separate episode, talking about how it's like to be a dark-skinned woman, okay? You don't always get called beautiful, but anytime I see Ledisi, like, that changes my prerogative to make me even feel better about myself, and that we can be dark-skinned and exist and be beautiful. You know what I mean? Because there's a spectrum, guys, that comes with beauty, okay? You can be lighter and be beautiful, and you can also be darker and be sexy and beautiful and have that confidence as well. I just would like to see better spectrum representation when it comes to the music industry, like, and it's starting to happen because we got really good artists like her. But yeah, she is that bitch, guys. Ooh, her music is popping. So good. And speaking of her again, you see how much I live for her. But guys, this is her latest album. It came out in August. And oh my gosh, I was going to review this, but I have so much going on, guys. It's called The Wild Card. And she has this song on there called Where I Am, and it's just this funky, soulful song, but it's like an anthem, you know, for women in love. Like she says in the song, like, meet me where I am, you know. And if you think you think you popping, you think you hot, then, you know, show me what you got. Like, that's literally what this song represents to me personally. But yeah, I've been listening to that song Where I Am on repeat like all fucking day. But I love Ledisi, guys. Please go check her out. You know, she's not your, you know, stereotypical R&B artist, you know, because that's the problem I have with sometimes with R&B, is that ever so often you have an artist like Ledisi, or you have people like oh, I forgot her name now, but you know, just really stand out. I feel like R&B, and this is why R&B kind of struggles ever so often, is R&B struggles just like with pop music, this kind of cookie cutter formula. You know, like once something is really, you know, hot and is blowing up, then it's just this kind of cookie cutter thing. So that's why I like Ledisi, because every one of her albums, guys, sounds different. Okay, if you listen to Pieces of Me and then you listen to The Wild Card, you're getting two different flavors, you know? So yeah, she is that bitch, and I love her. She wears natural hair, and she doesn't apologize for that shit. She's like, I am a dark-skinned woman, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, this is what I am. And it's so refreshing to see that, you know? And I'm so glad she's finally starting to be respected in the music industry, because people were sleeping on her for years, guys. Like, go listen. It's Ledisi, Ledisi. Go fucking listen to her music and let me know what you think. She is that good. Like, serious. She is the business. But yeah, I'll be doing a separate review on this album. I'm listening to it now. Ooh, it's so good, guys. It's so good. It's so good. All right, and you see, I'm obsessed with her. This is her other album. This is when she got a little more like sexy, but damn, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some Photoshop, but guys, she looks like that. She's like that fierce of a bitch. Like, she looks good. But this is her album, The Truth. And one of the songs I recommend, whether for all three books here, is called I Blame You. And if you watch the music video and you listen to the song, it's this song that kind of plays around with infatuation, but it's coming from the female perspective, which is really interesting. It's just the way she sings it, you know? Like, in the music video, she's kind of like super like geeky, and, you know, she kind of looks like a loser kind of mentality. And then eventually, you know, she musters up her confidence, and she just brings the sexy, and all these guys are like, okay, you know, they're checking her out like a two-piece of chicken, okay? But yeah, you see how sexy she is? Oh my gosh, she is everything, guys. Like, I love her. And she's got dreads, and yeah. So The Truth is great. It's also a really good album. But yeah, listen to I Blame You and some of the other songs on there. It's really good. I might listen to it while I'm taking my makeup off in a few moments. Like, damn, it's that good. All right, next, guys. This, I mean, you can't be a rock fan and not know the Cranberries. No need to argue. This is essential Irish rock music, but period. This is essential rock music. Okay, songs like Zombie and Linger. Man, it's so, like, I love this band, and it really broke my heart when Dolores O'Riordan, hopefully I said her name right, but she was the lead singer of the Cranberries, and she's just has she was just, I mean, guys, she made music history, because, you know, when this album came out, it was kind of unusual for like women in rock to have the voice that she has. It, like, her voice, like Dolores, like her voice, guys, it really stands out. Like, if you listen to Linger, even if you listen to some of her like her separate solo artist independent kind of stuff, really fucking good. And she really, like, the Cranberries, and there were many other Irish rock bands, but to me, that's how I learned about Irish rock music, was through them. And this is one of my, No Need to Argue is one of my favorite albums by them. But yeah, I just love, she's just pure raw aggression, and you know, she would yodel and sing and scream, and like she just has a really, like, she's just a unique voice, guys. Like, there's very few, you know, every generation there's always a couple of singers that have these voices that really stand out, and she is one of them. Like, yeah, I highly recommend this album, guys. And I would say this is more for Vampire Kisses, you know, and it has a very, like, coffee house rock kind of feel, but there are moments where it's like pure raw aggression, and I could definitely see, like, Alexander, like, listening to, like, an album like this, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. All right, and then you guys know I am obsessed with Pete Burns. I miss him so dearly, guys. Like, the thing I love about Pete Burns was he was just unapologetic about his creativity. He's just like, I dress androgynously, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, like, I love that about him. But Dead or Alive, for a little bit, it wasn't their whole career. They went a little bit gothic. Like, Pete Burns went a little bit gothic, not like full-blown goth, but he did. And this was the song that really kind of had that kind of gothic feel a little bit. It's called Something in My House, and this is off of the album Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know. And guys, it's great. Also listen to the remixes too, they're really fucking good. But this is a great song for Halloween, guys. Trust me, I will be coming out with my Halloween playlist songs that you should be listening to. Check it out. And don't you worry, I will have my Halloween video game recommendations. Hopefully I can do that this weekend, but not, it's gonna be next week, because I'm getting in the mood, guys, for Halloween. Halloween is like my gothic Christmas. Like, yes, okay. I be feeling myself too much there, but but yeah, I love Pete Burns, guys. Check it out, Dead or Alive, Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know. Just check out that track, Something in My House. Definitely for Vampire Kisses. Like, I can definitely see Raven with her headphones on, just like. Oh, also, guys, other honorable mention, I would say Sushi and the Banshees, because, you know, that's like early goth music, and Raven is a fan of that type of music too. So, but yeah, it's a great song for sure. All right, guys, so that is my first ever vampire romance wrap up with a soundtrack. You guys let me know, you know, if I did a good job. If you listened to the soundtrack, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like Dark Lover, Lover Eternal, or Vampire Kisses? The Beginning, of course, by Ellen Schreiber, and then of course the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. Let me know what you think. Okay, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. All right, but don't you worry, guys, we're gonna be going over the new and improved, updated bitch, okay, lovetropes.com website. Guys, if you haven't been on lovetropes.com, what you doing? Okay, if you got time to work out, you can go to the lovetropes.com website. Okay, I love it that much, guys. So we're gonna go through the whole thing in one sitting. It's probably gonna be like 5 hours, but I don't give a fuck. But I just want to have like a complete guide to like talking about all the tropes. If I have to take breaks in between, okay, so be it. But yeah, it's totally gonna be worth it, guys. It's totally gonna be worth it. All right, guys, so you can keep in touch with me the following ways. Of course, for Bookshade, definitely check me out both Instagram and of course Twitter, which is at Bookshade and then the number 1. Also, if you like my other main show, which is the Curvy Metalhead Show, you like, you know, alternative, like pop culture, rock, metal, I do movie reviews, and also in the future, guys, I will be doing watch parties where I actually will you know, watch like a movie or TV show and like react to it and stuff, and I'll do that of course live. I'm also working, guys, on you know, some other things as well. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, this is the season 1, of course, of my spin-off show Bookshade. If you have bookish recommendations, definitely let me know in that brutally honest, vicious, okay, comment section below. But guys, like I always say, okay, reading is Halloween. All right, I'll definitely check you guys out later. Take care, guys.